Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. We're doing it again. Welcome in, episode 260. I got to squeeze this one in. We got things to do. You got things to do. I got to honor your time. So let's just squeeze this one in, and then all of us can just go in our separate ways. That's what we do. We meet up for this. Huddle in, everybody. Let's huddle, and then let's all go our separate ways. Oh, there's so much shit in my mind. I want to have more time to just spill it into this mic, to spill it in there. I'm even going to deliver some breaking news out of the suburbs. You know what I'm seeing in the suburbs? Bad boys on wheels. You know what bad boys are? Whatever generation you picture, there's a bad boy archetype. Archetype or just archetype? A prototype? You know what I'm talking about. If you think like the 70s, leather jacket, cigarette, maybe smoking grass, and they called it grass. If you go into the 80s, maybe they're at the discotheque snorting coke off of strippers' jugs. Don't work blue. We got to really reel it in right now. What do you think of with bad boy? Bad boys who flip up skirts in the 80s. That's sexual harassment. Actually, that's a straight crime nowadays. But those bad boys who aren't going to class, but they hang out in the halls and they keep their cigs in their sleeve. You've seen this? Those are bad boys. What were bad boys of the 90s? Oh, bad boys of the 90s. They would pierce their cartilage. Bad boys of the 90s would drink a special brew and drive. They'd place a keg near a creek and smoke a beady, a big old wrapped tobacco leaf dipped in vanilla. Bad boys. What were the bad boys doing? Squirting cool water all over their necks and looking to neck with a girl. Hickey time. Bad boys. And when I say bad boys, I'm thinking like, 13-year-olds. I'm not talking about, because when you become older, you're not a bad boy anymore. You're just a criminal. You just, you go to jail. But there's a portion of your life where if you're like 12, 13, 14, and you don't play by the rules, you do that bad shit, that you're just a headache for the grown-ups. And no one's really sending you to juvie. So you're not quite criminal activity level, but you're still viewed by a lot of people in the community as, oh, that's a bad boy. And now I wasn't a bad boy. I didn't follow a lot of rules, but I was too scared to be a bad boy. Real bad boys, they got the girls, okay? And all of the fellas listening right now, look at your wife tonight and just know she used to be down with a bad boy. Sorry to break that news too, but if you're married to someone you think is prim, proper, cool, calm, collected, mild-mannered, nope. Back when she was like 13, 14, she liked the bad boy. She liked that motherfucker. Well, you know who he is today? He's on an e-bike. Every time I'm driving up Las Colinas, there's a bad boy or two, maybe three, and they go fast. They don't stop at any stop signs. And now I'm at the age where I'm just so worried. I'm just so worried that they're going to collide with a car and I'm going to watch a fatality. I'm just going to go, that bad boy who's just flying like 30, 35 miles per hour on that bike is dead because their brains haven't developed yet. And they kind of like the way it looks. They're the middle finger bad boys. They give you a scowl in their black jackets and then they pop a wheelie. They pop a wheelie and ride like 20 feet. So it's almost a show. They want to be seen. And maybe they'll be involved in sideshows where they screech their tires in Oakland in a few years. But right now, this is the extent. In the suburbs, this is the extent of bad behavior from the bad boys. And I just get freaked out. And I go, no, you're going too fast. You're going too fast on that e-bike. How could your parents let you ride that e-bike? And you know what I saw today? No helmets. A girl on the back of one of the bad boys' bikes. A girl, no helmet. And I'm just thinking, is this going to be in the IJ tomorrow? Like, the way they're going on these bikes, I know I sound like a worried old grown-up, the way they were worried about us when we were taking bong hits in Vachi's room, and Vachi's mom worked nights, so no one was there, and we'd put a towel under the door so no one would smell the smoke, and we were bad boys of our time, but this is much worse. I mean, what were we doing? You get the munchies, you make some Hot Pockets, and you watch Cheech and Chong? That's barely bad. Nowadays, these e-bikes, are you fucking kidding me? How are there not more deaths? Okay? I sound like I'm ready for a town hall meeting. How are there not more deaths? But the bad boys of any generation, They're memorable. You remember punks in 80s movies? Like Ernest Goes to Camp or Ernest Goes to Jail. I don't know where Ernest was going, but there was one of those movies where there were punks. Mohawks were scary. Spiked necklaces and leather jackets with pouches. I was about to say pouches because my daughter likes pouches at Trader Joe's, and I don't know how many days my kids ask for a snack. Holy shit, how much do you spend on groceries? Little kids? What are they? Just, can I get a snack? Can I get a snack? I'm a caterer to them. I think I'm a caterer first. I'm a human buffet, and then I'm daddy. Sometimes my wife and I don't even want to walk around them because if they hear the footsteps, they're like, string cheese, let me get cheese puffs, string cheese, let me get grapes, fresh grapes, and a granola bar. And I'm like, no, stop yelling. Just say hi, Dad. Snacks, and they like those applesauce pouches, but I meant patches on a leather jacket. Punks in 80s movies were so scary. And that's why I'm still scared of these little 13, 14-year-olds, these dicks, these fucking fuck faces on their e-bikes. That's why they scare me. I just realized because they remind me of the punks in Ernest Goes to Camp. There's actually going to be an Ernest documentary, Jim Varney, and I'm going to watch it. And then afterwards, I'm going to say, why did I watch all that shit? I don't know. Well, let's all inhale, exhale, take a breath, and welcome in.
Till I reach the top, the dream won't let me go. The dream won't let me go. Still in love with that dream. Until I reach the top, the dream won't let me go. The dream won't let me go. Still in love with that dream. Until I reach the top.
Ooh, how smooth is that beat? How smooth is that Eli Blue 99 beat? Until I reach the top. Oh, where are we going with this one? There was a moment at school today. I still go to high school, everybody, but there was a moment. I'm now the teacher. I'm not just, continuing my education. Or am I? I think I am continuing my education. And I ask the kids a warm-up question every day, a little journaling. I just ask them a big question for a forum discussion. And today I was asking them, all right, what is one hot button political issue that you actually care about? And their answers are so good. What do you all care most about? What are the topics that divide people, that people argue about, that you see heavily debated on social media? Like, what are these big topics that get people flustered, that get people on edge? And their answers are just like exactly what you would expect. Like climate change. Some students are talking about abortion rights and gun control and immigration. And we talk about ICE and we talk about current events and all these things that they want to learn more about. Student loan, forgiveness, debt. And all of their answers, overseas policy, they want to talk about wars in the world. I'm like, yeah, that's so amazing that you all care about these things. Let me just give props to this young generation because I know it's easy to rip them because they're always on their phones. It's easy to be critical, but they're kind of better. They're kind of better than all of us from the past. As they're answering these questions, I'm just like, yes, another good answer, yes. And this kid, Julian, he raised his hand. He's like, what about you? And I was like, what? He's like, when you were in high school, when you were our age, sometimes they do ask me a question about my own thoughts, my own life, because I always throw the questions at them and I forget how sometimes it's difficult to come up with something on the spot. But when he asked me this, he's like, yeah, when you were in high school, I was like, late 90s. If I was a junior in high school and a teacher said, like, what are the political topics that you care most about? Like, what are the social issues that you have a heartfelt reaction to? And I was stumped. I was almost embarrassed because usually I got something up my sleeve right below the cigarettes that I keep rolled up in my sleeve. But I always have something. In that moment, I was like, Julian, I don't remember caring about anything beyond basketball, hip hop, and comedy. And that is, I don't know if that's sad or blissful or if it's ignorant or naive, but we weren't talking about Clinton all the time. Trump is in the news there's too much of everything in the news, by the way, all the time. I don't care what you're into. There's too much of it coming at you with every podcast, documentary, and post. With every podcast and documentary and post. How much of the shit, even that we like, can we handle? It's too much of all of it. But I don't remember being inundated with such hot topics of global issues. We weren't talking about the environment. I know that for sure. I didn't care about candidates. I didn't care about propositions. I had nothing for this student. I had nothing. My parents, they would care about civil rights movement and Vietnam protesting. What were we? What were the late 90s kids? I have no fucking memory of us caring about anything. Are we the careless generation? And then we grow up, and I think we do our best learning now. Like most of my friends, we do our best learning now in our early 40s. Now we're reading, and now we're raising kids, and now we're like committed to careers that are hopefully fulfilling. But I thought that was amazing that kid, he had such a long list of things he cares about today in the world, and I had nothing. So yeah, they're better than us, or at least they're more informed. They're more woke. How did that word become weaponized? Woke. Woke used to be a compliment, a little bit of a compliment. Now it's an insult. I don't know. I can't keep up. The other thing this generation is all about is expressing when their mental health is low. Things people have kept bottled up for years and years and years. And for us adults, when we hear that a kid might miss school for 2 days because they're depressed, I think there's a lot of older teachers who are like, what? Well, when I was a kid, we still came to school when we were sad, and we don't honor their feelings as much. A kid's going to miss a week because they have anxiety spikes. And even me, at first, I was like, do they really get all these breaks to go to the wellness center? Not to be insensitive, but I was like, shouldn't they be in class? And now I can have so much compassion and empathy because I got hit with that low mental health. I think about 2 years ago, I stopped sleeping. Sleep is like the greatest thing. We recharge. That's what we do at night. Our brain gets to just rest, and then we recharge, get ready for another day. But what if you don't? And I think it really started at my buddy John Bush's wedding. I was the officiant, and the night before I didn't sleep. I was just too anxious, too many thoughts about this wedding. What am I going to do? What am I going to say? There's a lot of pressure to be there early, and there's a lot of pressure with all the eyeballs on you, and I don't want to mess up. And for some reason, I just couldn't sleep. And then I kept worrying about my lack of sleep is going to mean I'm a shitty officiant the next day. And I show up at this wedding, and I couldn't have been more on edge, just full of anxiety, full of fear. And I'm thinking, I can't do this again. And I did it again. I had another sleepless night and another, and it snowballed. And what was my anxiety about? Sleeplessness, insomnia. That was my number one source of insomnia. So then eventually I realized I honestly can't even go to my job. I can't keep my eyes open. They're stinging. So it was time after 2 years of serious insomnia and always thinking I could just do meditation. I get in more fitness. Maybe I'll reduce caffeine, all this natural stuff, maybe a little melatonin. I was thinking I'm broken. And that's a weird feeling to know you're broken. You're malfunctioning. Humans are intended to sleep. And if it's me looking at students and going, what, you can't do school because of mental health issues? Now, all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I get it. Teaching's harder. And it's good for adults to deal with mental health issues because now we can understand more of what's going on that you can't see. Oh, we can't just project our childhood onto the current generation. Like, oh, well, we did this and we did that and we didn't take meds and we're not as good as them. I didn't really feel all that anxiety in my teens, though, in my 20s, even my 30s. But now, oh my God, the sleep is like the main issue in my life. It completely changed me. Completely. I even started socializing less because if I planted the seed of something fun in the future, the night before I'd get too excited, couldn't sleep. Even a round of golf, even going hanging out with a friend, have coffee. I was scheduling less. I was worried about future vacations. If we go to Tahoe, what if I don't sleep and have enough energy to enjoy the beach? All these fucking thoughts. The kids would sing songs from K-Pop Demon Hunters. And I was like, no more. They would sing songs from like Harry Styles, Watermelon Sugar, hi. And I was like, not that song anymore. Then they'd sing something from like a princess movie. I go, no, not that one. And then they sing some like Taylor Swift. I go, no, I can't handle that. I couldn't handle any music because it just gets stuck in my head. That means I'm going to lose 2 more hours of sleep. You shouldn't tell your daughters don't sing. This is when I'm starting to realize I got to get help. Fearing songs. I stopped listening to music. I feared small talk at morning copy room moments. People coming up to me. I'm like, I can't generate anything beyond what's required today. I have no energy for small talk, and I'm usually decent at it. I want a dog. I was thinking I can't own a dog. What if they snore and keep me up? What if I have to wake up too early because the dog has to pee? I used to love the idea of having a dog. Miserable. Overanalyzing every little thing. If you're an insomniac, this will resonate with you. But even after all that, I mean, like 2 years of this, I didn't think I needed any like medication. I was like, I'm going to keep it natural. Sitting on a couch with a therapist is natural. So I found this woman I've talked about in Mill Valley, and we had good sessions, but I met her in March, and then come August, school year's starting up again. I met a bunch of new students, and I'm like, I'm done. Let me go meet a psychiatrist. Let me see what's really wrong. And the therapist said, you might need something to take the edge off. When your therapist says, you might want to explore some prescribed medications. I was like, no, I think, let me just work out harder. Let me just get blackout blinds. Let me rub essential oils all over my face. Nothing. Let me get magnesium. Everyone thinks magnesium's the cure. Let me go to the Kaiser Sleep Lab and see if it's sleep apnea and just wear a CPAP machine. My wife's going to be really attracted to that. CPAP machine all night. Nothing. Theanine. Oh boy. The amount of stuff I bought, the amount of Reddit threads I went down thinking I'm going to solve this. I couldn't solve anything. So I finally found a psychiatrist because I'm a crazy man. And the psychiatrist, after 90 minutes, he listened to everything I had to say. He learned about my entire background. And he said, yeah, all right. I think we could go the holistic route. And he's recommending something for anxiety. He's recommending something to commit to for my mental health. And I did start it. And I do kind of feel it. And I feel a little better. And why do I share this? I know it's an overshare, but I was someone that really was not compassionate to people who needed meds. For some reason, I just was always like, no, I got this. No, I don't. Humans don't have to have this. There's so many things we have. It's 2025. We should delegate a lot of the stress to modern medicine and new technology. It's okay. It's okay to do that and stop saying, well, when I was growing up, we didn't need this. I needed it. I need it all. I take a little trazodone. I take a little anxiety med, and now I'm able to exist in the world and at least do this podcast right now. Who knows? I might stop tomorrow. I might just try to be natural soon. But for right now, I'm in a new rhythm, folks. Okay. And I'm still Josh. I still got all those qualities. My side effects are, I barf into my lap every hour on the hour. And I completely sweat through the sheets every night. But yeah, I think I'm committed. Yeah. If your therapist notices enough signs, and her job is not to prescribe anything, but if she's like, you know what? I could see some of myself in this guy. I think I kind of had her allude to that. She's like, look, I've been in your shoes. I couldn't sleep in all this. And she's like, I needed something to take off the edge. I needed that little SSRI to take off the edge. So let's get away from that edge. Take off the edge. I didn't even know what she meant. You got to take off the edge. And now I like it. I needed to calm the fuck down. My nervous system has been out of whack for so long. And in therapy, you dig down and get into the traumas. But if you're going to get into the traumas, you better have a roadmap. So I think now I have a roadmap. A little bit. I got some tools for you. By the way, going back to K-Pop Demon Hunters because it's Halloween this week, it's not that good. I know all the adults I talk to, they're like, it's really good. It's really good. Grown-ups who always say, it's actually really good. That's the talking point. In all grown-up circles at Halloween, when we see all these kids dressed up as Mira and Zoe and Romy and Gino and Baby and Mystery and Romance, and the songs are fine. But the movie itself, all these grown-ups are, it's really good. It's really, it's really good. No, it's fucking not really good. It's really good? Annie Hall. And Diane Keaton died. And we should be talking about that. How did she even die? I didn't even Google that. We just got worried that it was a hoax. Didn't you? Whenever you see a celebrity death, aren't you like, I don't know, is it credible? Kids today, they're like, is it AI? Is it credible? I didn't grow up that way either. I just trusted every news story. What am I, the sheep? Nope. I don't know if that's how sheep makes sense. Was I a sheep? I don't know. Was I cattle? Cattle who just follow the lead without listening to their own discretion. These kids are too skeptical, though. I was showing them the 1989 Bay Area earthquake because it was the anniversary. I think it was like 26 years ago, 36 years. I'm bad with math. But the 89 earthquake during the World Series, A's and Giants, and I showed the kids some footage of the shake, shake, shake of October 17th, 1989. In every class, kids are like, it's AI. They're not even like blown away that the Cypress Freeway collapsed. They don't care that the top deck of the Bay Bridge, that section collapsed. They just think everything's AI. God, are they underwhelmed with life? It's AI. And they see too much of everything. So obviously you're going to become desensitized to everything. And then what's interesting anymore? Nothing. They're just going to be, who gives a shit? That's the who gives a shit generation that's also very conscious of social issues. I'm figuring them out right now. K-Pop Demon Hunters says, it's really good. It's good. It's animated and it's Korean and it's good. And it's everyone's Halloween costume and it's good. Holy moly. Are you ready for a hot political take? Are you? Buckle up for this one. All right. We saw what's going on in Israel, right? Do you listen to this podcast for Israel updates, Israel, Hamas, Gaza updates? Probably not. But do you know what a heel is? So Trump was getting a lot of credit for the ceasefire. Hostages are coming home, and Trump's taking all the credit. He's doing the tour of these Israeli cities, and they're just loving him, celebrating him, dancing, fireworks. Everybody celebrate parades for Trump. He got some of the hostages home. Commendable. He's able to broker a deal. I don't even know how. Obviously, I don't know how. But I'm thinking, wait, Trump right now is getting some love from the left. At least I heard some Democrats are like giving him credit. You got to give him credit where credit's due. Trump helped broker the ceasefire. He helped negotiate a deal. That ceasefire, who knows? It could be gone by the time this podcast is done. But there was a moment where I was like, oh, he's not getting criticized by his usual critics for this exact moment in Israel and what he's saying about Hamas and what he's saying about bring the hostages home. And I was like, okay. And then I thought, how extreme could this be? Because Trump likes headlines. And if you know what a heel is, in the world of wrestling, there's nothing more scintillating than the heel. And that's when the good guy turns bad. Like Hulk Hogan, when he became Hollywood Hogan. Hulk Hogan, who was the greatest. When I was growing up, Hulkamania was big. And then, I don't know, after I stopped watching, because I saw a documentary about Vince McMahon, I saw that Hulk Hogan became a bad guy. And it was so shocking, the looks on people's faces. And when I was following wrestling, Ted DiBiase, he had this manager, Virgil, who wore a pink vest, and Virgil turned on him. So Virgil was a good guy with DiBiase, and then he turned on him, and I'm like, Virgil? Virgil's going to fight Ted DiBiase? And when we get those twists in wrestling, it's fun, it's scintillating, it's dramatic, and Trump loves wrestling, and I was thinking he could pull the ultimate heel move. What if every policy that he put forth, he just turned on? And I was thinking, this could be the greatest show we've ever seen, because it's all a show, right? Politics is such a disgusting, ugly game. Don't watch how the hot dog gets made, right? That's politics. It's just this corrupt world of how many shady individuals could be labeled leader. And I'm thinking, Trump knows it's a show. He knows it's a game. He plays this like it's just LARPer shit. LARPer, live action I don't know what it means, but it means kids that do a bunch of nerdy shit in the woods. So I was thinking, his supporters love the fact that he upsets the liberal left. That's their favorite thing about him. It's not policy. His biggest supporters, they don't love him. They love that he ruffles the feathers of his opposition, his enemies. What if those are the people in the crowd when Trump becomes the most liberal, LGBTQ supporting, progressive, just changes his stance on all the tax measures, just changes his stance on everything. Picture this. You know what's weird? It's not that hard to picture. That's how crazy the world is right now. So he's not even a classic Republican. You remember he used to be a Democrat? He used to be like really friendly with the Clintons. I wonder if he just changes everything. Those current supporters, they would stop supporting him, right? Right? How connected is that MAGA group, that MAGA nation, to him as a person? Like, would they roll with him over to the left if they're like, you know what, that's my God, that's my cult leader, I'm on board? Or would they cheer against him? Like, was there any Hulkamaniac who was like, you know what, even though he's Hollywood Hogan and he dyed his mustache black and his bandana went from yellow to black, I'm still a Hulk Hogan fan? Would anyone cross over with him? Or would the MAGA crew just be so outraged? What would they do without their leader? What would they do? MAGA would abandon him. I think we know that. I think, because that's what they like most about him, is that he upsets those granola hippies. Have you read the comments on anything? These are an angry bunch. If you hate woke liberals, Trump's your God, right? If you hate the woke lefty liberals, there's your God. And if your God becomes one, what do? Please give me this show. How many years does he have left? Like 3? I don't know. And is he going to try to just erase democracy and go for a third term? I don't know. But the show's going to get so out of hand. We realize that, right? Like, it's mild. I almost think the political climax was an old porno, but go back to climate is my brain's done, folks, is mild compared to where we're going at the end of his term. Holy good Lord. Get ready for the explosion of the dark web. Oh, it's going to be a dark time in D.C. Anyways, I think I got to stop soon. My mother-in-law's visiting from Fargo. We got to clean the house. Fargo, North Dakota. Do you know someone from North Dakota? Do you really? Who? Minot? Yeah, I've heard of Minot. Duluth? That's Minnesota. That doesn't count. Who do you know from Minnesota? No, from North Dakota. All right, I'm just going to end with things I like. There are things I like. We all know that. I don't like e-bikes, but that's not what this list is. This list is not supposed to be e-bikes. I have to admit, I do like these new AI videos that are coming my way on Facebook of obese people doing pole vault or diving off of diving boards or racing or playing soccer. And I don't know why I like them, and I don't know who's making them, but are you seeing these AI videos of just giant, like, it's beyond fat people. It's fantasy fat. Just doing competitive diving. And they look so real. Am I immature or is it brilliant? I don't know. It looks so real, but of course there's that little kid in me that's giggling to himself, and I'm like, I don't know if this is right to laugh at. Yes, it is. If you're laughing, it's okay to laugh at it, I think, because it's a visceral response. That's why comedy should have no boundaries, really, because if you're laughing, they did their job. I like those videos. That's how I'm going to start. Things I like. You know what else I like? Guys who are on YouTube just sizzling steaks in the woods. Have you seen this ASMR shit? It's so great. The way they chop the garlic and chop the onions and chop the tomatoes and chop the bell peppers, and then they're grilling steaks outdoors. The one guy I watch, he has a dog. He edits his videos really well. He's like near a babbling brook, and he's got these tall pine trees, and he shows us how he cuts it down the middle, medium rare. Sometimes he makes his own bread. I like it. No, I love it. That's things I love. I love that shit. I love getting a... Sorry, I thought the door just opened. They mustn't see me. I love getting a rare Jeopardy answer correct that the contestants don't know, or they answer incorrectly. Has this ever happened to you? My wife and I are grandparents already because we watch Jeopardy every night, but we also pause it. We go pause because we watch it tape delayed, and we pause it, and then we give ourselves like 30 seconds to think about the answers. And sometimes we get it. If your brain has that much time, you actually get it. And the contestants, they give you the and that's the sound on Jeopardy. When the contestants don't get it and we get it, you feel brilliant for a second. You're like, wow, look at these shit for brains with the buzzers. And I'm on my couch and I get it. Usually the stuff they don't get is just what? It's just what? Sports. That's the one I get. Sports I do well with. I don't know anything about Greek mythology, science, literature, show tunes. But if it's sports or history, I got you. I got you. I like, what else do I like? Don't run out this quickly. I like all my students that could do Rubik's Cubes. I have Rubik's Cubes in my room, little fidgets. You know why they can all do these Rubik's Cubes? Some of them don't even have to look. It's because they were pandemic kids. When we thought we were teaching them on Zoom, they weren't being taught or looking or listening. They were doing little fidgety shit, and most of them had Rubik's Cubes, and they do it so quickly. That's a true pandemic sight. To see these kids, juniors in high school now, the way they do Rubik's Cubes, it is amazing to watch. Amazing. I like Volley Start. It's a new volleyball program my 7-year-old, almost 8, is in. I love the guy who runs it. They play music. My daughter's going to be short, pretty sure. She'll be like, I don't know, 5'2", 5'3", but you can still be a setter or a libero. I'm learning volleyball terms. You know what a libero is? No, you don't. I like a house in my neighborhood that has a puzzle exchange. They just put a puzzle out and you're supposed to take it and then bring one. I like that. I like proper glassware. If you're getting a martini, you better have the right glass. If you're getting a glass of white versus red, you should have the proper glassware. If you're having a gin on the rocks, proper glassware. If a restaurant doesn't have the proper glassware, that doesn't work for me. I once had a producer in Radio Herm. He said, I like wine, but I drink it out of a mug. And I was like, what? You're not allowed to do that. He's like, who cares? What's the difference? There's a difference. The packaging, the presentation. You got to have the proper glassware if you're going to be boozing it up. All right, I feel like the door opened. I feel like my mother-in-law from Fargo has arrived. And I can't be doing this podcast if she's here. God, I feel like there were a few other topics I wanted to get to, but forget that. I think, you know what? Eventually, we're just going to say goodbye, and there'll be episode 261, and there'll be episode 262 and 263, and then 264 will be my last. Like Mark Maron, he's done. How about that? I kind of like that Mark Maron's not going to ride this into his grave. And he's like, you know what? All things can end. I was inspired by him. It's true. We could all have different chapters of life. Finally, yes, I just remembered. This is how I want to end it. Good buddy of mine when I was 12 years old. I was on the Royals and Majors, the Kansas City Royals, back when I was so into baseball. And when you're playing Little League, it's not just kids from your school, but all these kids from the community, whether it's the surrounding schools, private or public, they're on the same teams. And we were probably 12, and this kid, Joey Cassina, was drafted. There is a real draft, and we were told he's one of the best. Of the younger kids, he's one of the best. He could pitch, he can hit, he plays shortstop. He's got all the tools. So I knew his name before he came to the team, and he immediately came to the team, and he's like 5'2", short like me, and he's the best player. And I love that about him. And we become best friends, and we went to the county fair every single day, and we snuck in, and we stole things because we were bad boys, and we stole a bunch of shit, real bad boys. And he came to TL. I knew him in high school a little bit. We were buddies, breakdance buddies. We would wear the velour to the floor jumpsuits. We rapped at rallies. Joey was actually a good rapper. And then we lost touch for 26 years. And I found him on Instagram, and it turns out he's a really amazing tattoo artist, an amazing painter on canvas using acrylic and gouache. Is that how you pronounce that paint? I don't know. But I wrote to him. I said, Joey, how you been? Would you ever do a painting for me? And he wrote back, well, I'll be goddamned. Josh Rosenberg. And he said I'd be honored. And this was like a month and a half ago. And then this past Sunday, he finished it. He came to the house to drop it off. And I couldn't be more elated. There's something about good art on my eyes. If you like it, it's for you. That's art. That's the best thing about art. You don't have to quantify it. You just go, my eyes like looking at that. And what Joey created, it was this real Joey style, almost like Peter Max in a way, so colorful, butterflies and hummingbirds and lavender and fruit trees and just designs and spirals and palm trees. And I'm just so blown away at this 4x3 diptych canvas on my wall. And I just still feel that natural high from reconnecting with a friend. So I'm in a good mood. I'm happy. I'm probably going to be medicated for a long time so I can sleep. I'm not even sleeping that well yet, but I feel like there's progress. I'm going to send you a virtual hug. I'm going to get out of here. Leave a nice rating or review on iTunes, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen, SoundCloud. All right, have a happy Halloween. I love you all. I'm going to cry happy tears right now. That's it. It's in the books. I'll talk to you soon.